Imagine you're in a meeting when a colleague interrupts you mid-sentence for the third time. Your jaw tightens. You think to yourself, what a jerk, or something more colorful. But across the table, another coworker sees the same behavior and thinks, he's really passionate about this project. Same person, same actions, completely different interpretations. This reveals a fundamental truth about human experience. You never interact with objective reality. You interact with what you imagine reality to be. Hey there, it's me, Core, and you're listening to Exercising Self-Control, from Fitness to Flourishing. Life operates within two distinct layers. One, objective reality, what actually is, and two, your imagined reality, what you believe is happening. Here's the thing, you always act based on your imagined reality. You don't respond to the person sitting across from you. You respond to the person you've created in your mind based on your limited observations and interpretations. They exist in objective reality, but you can only interact with the version of them that lives in your awareness. When you labeled your imaginary colleague a jerk, you created that interpretation. Someone else might see his interruptions as enthusiasm, anxiety, or poor social skills. His, in quotes, jerkness isn't an objective fact. It's your creation, your chosen interpretation of ambiguous data. Understanding this distinction unlocks extraordinary freedom. Since your interpretations are creations rather than discoveries, you can change them. When you realize that your awareness is, in quotes, a truth rather than, in quotes, the truth, you gain the power to transform your experience instantly. The quest for objective truth has given us science, technology, and medicine. These are tools for navigating the physical world successfully. But in our interpersonal world, clinging too tightly to our interpretations as, in quotes, the truth, imprisons us in experiences we might prefer to change. When you find yourself stuck in an unwanted experience, try this 3-step process. First, notice. Separate your interpretation from the observable facts. For example, you were interrupted in the meeting. The reasons for the interruption are open to interpretation. Recognize that you're operating from that interpretation, not objective, observable facts. Second, question. Ask yourself, what else could this mean? How might someone else interpret this situation? And third, choose. Select the interpretation that serves you better, knowing that all interpretations are constructions. For example, if someone doesn't return your text immediately, you might interpret this as disrespect, but you could equally interpret it as them being busy, thoughtful in their response, or simply having different communication habits. Choose the interpretation that creates the experience you prefer. It's important to seek the truth with a capital T. The less discrepancy between what we imagine and what's actually real makes our choices and actions appropriate and effective. That's the purpose of observing reality and learning its laws. But when we need to make snap decisions in the moment, it can be more practical to seek honesty. Honesty means keeping your words consistent with your awareness of reality. When someone shares their interpretation, they're being honest about their experience, not revealing the ultimate truth. The distinction gives you adaptability. If your experience isn't what you prefer, you can examine your interpretations and choose differently. You're not abandoning the quest for the actual truth. You are exercising your creative power as the author of your own experience to be most effective, all things considered. The process works like this. Awareness leads to interpretations, leads to experience. You are simultaneously the creator of your interpretations, the director of your focus, and the author of your experience. As Marcel Proust, a French novelist, observed, begin quote, "The real voyage of discovery consists not in seeking new landscapes, but in having new eyes." End quote. Every moment, you are interpreting countless pieces of information and creating meaning from ambiguity. That colleague who interrupted you? Tomorrow, you might see their enthusiasm instead of rudeness. That friend who canceled plans? You might interpret it as self-care rather than rejection. You're not discovering these qualities in others. You're creating them through your awareness. And since you're the creator, you have the power to create differently. The moment you accept that your interpretations are choices rather than discoveries, you reclaim authorship of your experience. Your awareness shapes your experience shapes your actions, and your actions shape your results. I have a saying, we all live in the same reality, but in individual worlds. You create your world, and I create mine. By choosing to change our interpretations, we can make a better world, not only for ourselves, but for everyone else. That's it for today. Catch you next time.